For the Cleveland Indians. Cleveland Indians are still in contention. They traded Corey Kluber, and they still could be in contention. When you got a pitching staff like Clevenger, Carrasco, Shane Bieber, look at his stats, man. I don't think anybody realizes how good he is. Aaron Savali, whatever his name, Zach Plesac, Adam Plutko. They can still win. Brad Hand, who could be traded, is the closer. But Cleveland with an over-under of 86. Now, I got to contemplate this one. 86. Yikes. I don't have a lot of confidence that Cleveland is going to really go for it. Not with the outfield that they got, so let's get started. Let's get started with the Cleveland Indians because it could be a pretty interesting team. Now, of course, the trades for Francisco Lindor, Cleveland wants a combination of good, young, big league players. If they haven't traded them yet, that's what they got for Trevor Bauer in their three-way deal with Cincinnati and with San Diego when they got Yasiel Puig and Franmil Reyes. That immediately helped their team, and then they received Logan Allen, Scott Moss, and Victor Nova. So let's take Cleveland, see if they decide to make the trade. They'd like Gavin Lux, Dustin May from the Dodgers, Lindor, who is in a great frame of mind. Don't forget he missed the first 18 games last year because of injuries. But that was his first trip to the DL. Okay? So, and he's been pretty durable. From 2016 to 2018, he only missed 11 games. So, we'll see what happens if they trade Mr. Francisco Lindor. The Indians won 93 games last year, but finished 8 games behind Minnesota. Missed the postseason for the first time in 4 years. Minnesota won 101 games. They traded Corey Kluber and his $17.5 million contract to Texas to create some cash flow, helped them fill a hole at second base. They didn't want Jason Kipnis anymore. So they got Cesar Hernandez, who was going to steal some bases. They also added, and you got to watch this guy, Emmanuel Clase. Emmanuel Clase. Just watch him. He's going to be the closer on this Cleveland Indian team when they trade Brad Hand. Delino DeShields will be there. Cleveland opens spring training on February 11th. Hope you have your draft guide by then. If you don't, you missed out on a little bit, okay? So, Emmanuel Clase, he's ready. He's all ready to go into the majors. He had a 2.31 ERA in 23 and a third innings for Texas. He struck out 21. He walked only 6. He's got an average, that's AVER, average fastball, 99 miles per hour. And the Indians see Clase as a closer at some point. So his fastball has movement. Remember how Brian Shaw had a 93-mile-an-hour fastball that swooped away from righties? That's the kind of movement that Clase has on his 99-mile. All right, so look, they took Delino DeShields instead of taking a low minor prospect. He's considered an above-average center fielder. He stole 24 out of 30. Oscar Mercado is in center. But not, and Franmil Reyes could play at least half the games in right field. Jordan Luplo's in left. Bradley Zimmer's trying to come back from major shoulder surgery. That wiped out most of his last 2 years. Tyler Naquin is recovering from major ACL knee surgery. He probably won't be ready until at least June. Greg Allen, with his .229 batting average, not a factor. Jake Bowers had a chance to play regular left field, but hit only .226, and like Allen, he spent part of the year, at least, in the minor leagues. DeShields is a career .246 hitter with little power. He's got some good speeds. The Indians see the right-hander as a fourth outfielder. As of now, he's ahead of Allen, he's ahead of Zimmer, and he's ahead of Bowers. Okay? A player who is set up. You got to watch this guy. Daniel Johnson, who batted a combined .290 with 19 homers and 77 RBIs between Class AA and Class AAA. 24-year-old outfielder. I know. I've talked to Cleveland people. He impressed a lot of people last year in Goodyear. He had a good season. He finished strong. He batted .306 in AAA. For those of you who are looking for a pen and pencil to write this name down, forget it. Get the etcher and etch his name in your kitchen table. His name is Daniel Johnson. All right? You got that? So the Cleveland trade was primarily about cutting payroll and adding a bullpen arm and Clase, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens there. They're even thinking of bringing back Cody Allen. I mean, Tyler Olson, who spent the last 4 seasons with Cleveland, he's still unsigned. Look, there's a lot of things they could do. Keep an eye out for Nolan Jones. He's recovering from right thumb surgery. Should be ready to go in spring training. The negotiations, and they had negotiations between Clevenger and the Indians management. So look, Cleveland's not dead. Not dead at all. You know what Carlos Santana's going to do? Very steady. Jake Bauers was a big disappointment. He's now the backup. Could play some outfield, but we just said he failed. Jose Ramirez. Oh, baby, Jose Ramirez. What do you do with Jose Ramirez? Remember all last year? He couldn't hit the off-speed pitch. Ramirez can only hit the fastball. So I got to give him credit. He made adjustments, and big-time adjustments. I'm projecting Jose Ramirez at age 27 to hit 273, 25-plus home runs, 20 to 25 stolen bases. Look, last year he opened up. He was hitting 214 over the first 3 months of the season. Had 5 home runs, but he kept his value up by getting 18 stolen bases. Okay, it looked like a lost season for the former first-round pick, but he changed his act. Second part of the season, he hit 320 from July 1st until he broke his hamate bone at the end of August. Okay, he had 15 home runs, 6 steals. So, look, he came back, and he came back even in the final week of the season, hit 3 more home runs in 3 games, knocked in 8 more runs. So, I was down on him big time last year, but he made some adjustments. He could be in for a 30-30 season. He has jumped back in my playbook as a first-round pick without a doubt. So I'm looking for this kid to do something special. Okay, so don't forget you can take him. Absolutely take him. Cleveland, by the way, 12 to 1 to win the Central Division. I'm not buying that. I think they could very well throw it into the tank. 25 to 1 to win the World Series. 86 under over. I am not convinced that Cleveland is going to make a run. I'm not convinced that it, so I'm going to go, if I'm going to take this bet, I'm going under. I think the White Sox, Minnesota, and even Kansas City will be improved. So I'm not saying Cleveland's going to win 86 games. I think it's less. The pitching staff, Clevenger, Carrasco, Bieber, as I said, all 3 of these have really emerged as outstanding Major League Baseball pitchers. And let me tell you what I think of Clevenger. And I know Andrea fell in love with Clevenger because he was friends with Trevor Bauer. That's not why. That's what she says. She's full of bull dinky. Clevenger, with his 2.85 ERA, 1.1 whip, he's got 3+ pitches. He'll get you 225 strikeouts. He was on the injured list 2 times last year. 2 times. He pitched, all right, so you got to watch him there. And Shane Bieber, he had a 296 BABIP, which wasn't, okay, it was all right. He still pitched good. He's got 4 pitches. He got great control. He keeps the batters off balance as good as any pitcher that I've ever seen. Strikeout to walk rate 25 to 5. So that's Shane Bieber for you. I'm thinking that this Cleveland team is going to go as far as their pitching. There was even talk about them trading Clevenger, but I don't think that's going to happen. Cleveland will play it out. Let's see how they do at the beginning of the year, and then they'll make their adjustments. Nolan Jones again. What's going on? Very patient hitter. He's got an advanced approach. He's got a track record of hitting and big-time raw power. We did see him in the Arizona Fall League. Defensively, he's limited. He's got below-average foot speed, but still he's got instincts. Pretty good athlete. At Double-A, he hit 274 with 15 homers, 7 out of 10 stolen bases. George Valera, outfielder, not a big guy. He's about 5'10", 160. He's only 19, so maybe he'll grow, but we'll see. Not looking, there's nobody else. Ethan Haskins is somebody that you may want to take a look at, but Most of the Indians, Tristan McKenzie is a kid that could emerge. He's always had good stuff, but he's got injuries. He's never put on any weight. Only weighs about 160. So sequencing and pitch mix have been terrific. Okay, he's got some potential. He knows how to play the game. Nothing else in terms of prospects, but I'll remind you again of Daniel Johnson. He's a freak of an athlete. 4 big-time tools. Okay? Hit 290. 18 home runs. 12 out of 22. That's not good. Stolen bases. He's a kid. He's about 5'11", 200 pounds, 24 years old. He's a lefty-lefty. So keep in mind. He made big strides with his approach in 2019, lowered his strike rate. Again, you got his name etched. It's Daniel Johnson. Logan Allen could be a relief pitcher for this team, and that's about it for Cleveland. Okay, so the Cleveland Indians, I'm still saying I'm not convinced that this is a team that really wants to contend. It's about the budget, the money, the thing. One of the things that I'm not too thrilled about with Major League Baseball. Too many teams like that. Hopefully Cleveland won't be one of them. And I just can't end it without Brad Hand's the closer. I'm telling you, Class A will be the closer. But Bradley Zimmer, someone that I have to talk about. I almost forgot about him. But you can't forget Bradley Zimmer. He has been such a good defensive outfielder, but at some point, Bradley Zimmer may be pretty good. But this year, I'm not saying it. He was called up at the end of middle of September, but maybe ready for big league action. That shoulder surgery he had, he hit 309 over 22 games in the minors. He's 26 years old, so just keep an eye on him in spring training. Bradley Zimmer, nothing much else I could say, or anybody. Cleveland Indians will win under 86 games this year.